So today, lads, we're going to be talking a little bit about Caitlin Clark and the Washington Mystics owner. And we're going to be discussing what I think is one of the most kind of egregious things that she said in the post. And we're going to be talking about the players. We're going to be comparing them, and we're going to be answering the question of, is she right or is she wrong? Because the old WNBA would say she's 100% times right. The new WNBA would say she's 100 times wrong. So, before we get on to that, if you guys agree, subscribe. We're trying to hit 40.15k by the end of the night, and we're 22 off. So, anyway, this is what was said. Is one of the more divisive points in it.
I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now...
So, I think the point of saying that players didn't get the recognition they should have is a valid point. But the thing is that the players are getting the recognition they should be getting right now. Like, this is the equivalent of, imagine if during the 90s we had people saying, but what about the Iceman? Or, but what about George Mikan? What about George Mikan? What about Tommy Heinsohn? Man, do we not remember what Tommy Heinsohn did for the Celtics? And my favorite part about this, I don't know why my light just keeps turning on and off. I do want to apologize. But my favorite part about all this is it's all about where was the hype for likes of like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie. There's not one or even an AJ Wilson. There's not one person saying where was the hype for Lauren Jackson. Nobody's saying where was the hype for Elena Delle Donne. And how many MVPs does Elena Delle Donne have? I think she's got 2 MVPs. Is she? Am I right in saying that? She's 2 MVPs, Delle Donne. And Lauren Jackson has 3, doesn't she? Because you know why they're not mentioning those 2 players' names in the players getting recognition. And by the way, they did not get Steward or Taurasi recognition, either of them. And you've got 3 MVPs and 2 championships for Lauren Jackson. But anyway, let's talk now a little bit about the statement. Let's look back on every single WNBA draft post league being, let's just go post Atlanta Dream. Let's just go post Atlanta Dream. And we're going to look at guards in these drafts. So the 2008 WNBA draft. First pick was Candace Parker. Sylvia Fowles was big. Candace Parker at her peak was making close to $10 million a year in endorsements. Candace Parker, I think, was one of the very few WNBA players who was getting mainstream recognition. Either way, though, the first guard taken was Candace Wiggins in that draft. Candace Wiggins was out of the NBA or WNBA pretty quickly, and if I'm not mistaken, the Candace Wiggins, she was the person that said that the league was toxic to her. So she was the top guard coming in, and she came in, and in fairness, averaged 15.7 points per game off the bench. And she was 6th Woman of the Year as a rookie. Incredibly good player. Not only was she not as talented as Caitlin, she actively despises the league. She basically claims she was bullied out of the league. Then in the 2000, I have no idea what's going on my light. I do want to apologize. 2009 WNBA draft, Angel McCoughtry. In fairness, she would have been, was she a forward or a guard? I don't know. Either way, Angel McCoughtry was great. Angel McCoughtry was great as a rookie, putting up 12.8 points per game coming off the bench. Not as talented as Caitlin Clark. No offense, not as talented as Caitlin Clark. Again, we are looking purely at guards. We're not even going to compare her compared to bigs, because there's no, as you've said, a lot of people say, oh, let's not compare guards to bigs. And this is purely as talented. We can, obviously no one's ever got the recognition of Caitlin Clark, but I want to find a guard that came in their rookie season and was as talented. I have absolutely no idea who the first guard that was taken in this draft was. I don't know who's a guard, but I just know they weren't even an all-star, so not as talented as Caitlin Clark. Let's go to the 2011 WNBA draft. Maya Moore, again, a wing, doesn't have the recognition of Caitlin Clark, and this is the only one you can debate. I think you can debate Maya Moore. And I mean that. Maya Moore was that good, but still, like, 44% from the field, 13 points a rookie. I get it, she won a ring, but her team was super stacked. And Other than that, Liz Cambridge, a big. If you want to go purely point guards, Courtney Vandersloot came in averaging 6 points per game and 3.7 assists per game with 2.7. Like, Courtney Vandersloot had a worse assist to turnover ratio than Caitlin Clark as a rookie, but no one seems to care about that. But no, not as talented as Caitlin Clark. And by the way, we've only seen Caitlin Clark as a rookie, which is why I'm only judging him as a rookie. Neko Wumake, not the same position. Obviously, none of these players were as talented. That's just obvious. The first guard taken was Skylar Diggins. No. Skylar Diggins, peak for peak, Caitlin Clark beats out Skylar Diggins. I'm not joking when I say that. Peak for peak, Caitlin Clark beats out Diggins. Like, she's didn't make the playoffs for the first 4 years of her career, and in fairness, averaged 20 as a second year player, but worse assist to turnover ratio than Caitlin, averaged 8.5 points per game as a rookie. Not as talented as Caitlin Clark, although again, really freaking good with Diggins. Odyssey Sims made an all-W team, but no, not as talented as Caitlin Clark. Obviously, we're watching Odyssey Sims arguably playing near her peak right now. 2015 draft, Jewel Lloyd, hell no. 2016 W draft, Stewie, not a guard. Best guard in that draft was Mariah Jefferson. Hell no, just because she went to UConn. 2017 W draft, Kelsey Plum. Hell no, and especially if we want to look at Kelsey Plum as a rookie. That's the big thing. We want to look at Kelsey Plum averaging her 8.5 points per game as a rookie. Like, she ended up going from a starter to a bench player in 2021. Like, her best, she literally got moved to the bench in her 4th season. Or in her 5th season. Her 5th season, she got benched. Like, yeah, Kelsey Plum post 2022, solid. Solid player, but like, no. Kelsey Plum got the hype, did not have the ability. Aja Wilson, not a guard. Kelsey Mitchell, as a rookie, I'm pretty sure averaged about 12 points per game. And Aja Wilson was nowhere near as good as Caitlin Clark as a rookie. Averaged 12.7 points per game. Aja Wilson averaged more points per game than Caitlin Clark, but look at the percentages she did it on. She did on 46% from the field without shooting a three-pointer. Like, that's terrible. 77% from the line. She shot an effective field goal percentage of probably 50. Maybe sub 50. Like, that's bad. That's not good. Caitlin's effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, her effective field goal was 46. Her true shooting percentage was sub 50. Caitlin's was above 60. In fairness, blocked some shots, nearly 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, 20.7 points per game, great. The team didn't make the playoffs. So, like, again, not as good based off her rookie season. And 2019, Jackie Young really struggled as a rookie. Arike, maybe. Like, Arike put up a lot of points, but Arike didn't win Rookie of the Year, even. People are going to say Arike, like, 6.6 points for Jackie Young as a rookie. Arike averaged 19.1 as a rookie, but, like, she didn't win Rookie of the Year. Like, she led the W in scoring in her second year. Cool. Like, the only player you could argue is of a similar talent level to Caitlin Clark is Arike. But, like, again, Arike wasn't making the playoffs in these seasons. This is the wobble, so it doesn't count. There was no one cared about the wobble. Arike's teams were not very good, and Arike is the only player I think you can even put in the argument here. Like, I actually think Arike Gumboale, Sabrina Ionescu, like, even her as a rookie, her as an actual rookie, not the 3 games she played her first year, 11.7 points per game in her first real season. Like, this was a year where the Rookie of the Year was Crystal Dangerfield. 2021 draft. No, this draft sucked. Dejanay was the best player in this draft, and she was a second rounder. 2022 draft, Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard, pretty good as a rookie. 16 points per game on an Atlanta Dream team that did not make the playoffs. Then, after Ryan Howard, 2023, Aaliyah Boston was not as good as Caitlin. And Caitlin Clark. The only rookies that you could argue have, at this point in time, showed that they are more talented than Caitlin Clark. Since 2008, rookies that have been more talented than Caitlin Clark, period. Maybe Candace Parker, and that's an argument. Candace Parker, and Maya Moore, who are considered two of the three, who were considered prior to the season, two of the three best rookies of all time with Tamika Catchings. Caitlin Clark is in the four. There are four people that you can argue for the greatest rookie of all time. Tamika Catchings, Candace Parker, Maya Moore, and Caitlin Clark. And if you want to say that any of them were as talented as Caitlin Clark, I'm not actually going to argue that. I mean that. Like, if you want to make the argument that those three players were more talented than Caitlin Clark when they came into the league, cool. Kelsey Plum didn't have the same type of organic boom. She scored a lot of points. She didn't break Pete Maravich's record. Like, Caitlin Clark broke Kelsey Plum's record way before. And it was the same with, like, Elena Deladon when she was there in college. And Brittany Griner was the most hyped player in college that I remember. And including Stewie. Brittany Griner was the most hyped player. Heck, she made an Olympic team as a junior in college. So, that's one of the things where it's like, listening to her speak. Let's listen to what she says again.
That they should have. And I think right now, and they never got the recognition that they should, or that are equally as talented. I've seen so many.
We are talking right here. There are three players that you can argue. And it's Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore, and Candace Parker. And I mean it. They are the only three players you can argue that from a upside, talent, how good they were, how they impacted their team, you could argue that were equally as talented as Caitlin Clark. There are three players. And again, if we want to have a discussion to say, why did those three players not get the recognition they deserved? Candace Parker did. She won an MVP because of a fan vote. Like, you do realize if the criteria for the MVP was the same in 2024 as it was in 2008 with a fan vote being included, Caitlin Clark would have won the MVP. Candace Parker won. Ironically, you can be like, oh, A'ja Wilson broke this record for most points in a season. She broke the highest points per game record. Do you want to know what year the highest points per game record was? Or what happened in 2008, the year Candace Parker won MVP? Diana Taurasi broke the record for the highest points per game in a WNBA season. She did not win MVP because of a fan vote. If, like, Diana Taurasi did exactly what A'ja Wilson did this year. Except, did she win a ring? She might have won a ring that year. No, the Storm won it. Did the Storm win in 08? Did Diana Taurasi, did they win in 08? No, they won the next year and the year before. So, yeah, Diana Taurasi did exactly what A'ja Wilson did this year. And Candace Parker won MVP because of a fan vote. But, yeah, that is the reality of that situation. Maya Moore, okay, that's your argument. You can make that argument. And when we're talking about recognition, thing was so early, so long ago. Tamika Catchings, that it's hard to judge 2002 versus 2024. It's hard to judge. That's almost the equivalent of asking in Michael Jordan's time, why did George Mikan not get more recognition? But anyway, yeah, that's the video. See you guys.